it's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to Thursday Night Stamp Therapy. Are you enjoying the brand new Stampin' Up! Annual catalog? I've got all my pages tabbed, but guess why they're tabbed? It's not necessarily the product that I have tabbed. I love going through new catalogs and taking a look at all of the project ideas. I love to case the catalog, and today I am going to be sharing some cased projects. Now, if you're not familiar with the acronym of CASE, it stands for Copy and Share Everything, or I prefer Copy and Edit Selectively. No, I did that backwards. Copy and selectively edit. So tonight we're going to be casing the catalog because it's more than just a catalog. It actually used to be called the Idea Book and Catalog, because I don't know if you know this, but for every single stamp set that's in the catalog, there is at least one handmade project using that stamp set. So for everything, no matter which page you turn to, like for this one, we have this card, and for this one, we've got these two. So every single stamp set, you're going to be able to find at least one idea in the catalog. And the whole idea of the catalog is to inspire you to create your own projects. And so Stampin' Up! Has published a list, and maybe you've seen this already, the Annual Catalog Samples Recipe. And so for every single card sample that is in the catalog, Stampin' Up! Has a supply list. And I will tell you, it's not like measurements, but it is a supply list that will show you. Let me open up an example here. I didn't print that one. Let me give you a different example. Okay, so here's one that we're gonna make tonight. And so I printed out the page. This is what it looks like, the supply list. So it just tells you the page number, it tells you the supplies that they used. If there's any instructions, they do kind of tell you about that. So if you're looking through the catalog and you're like, gosh, I wonder, what they used for that or how they made that, then the sample recipe supply list is for you. I have put this on my website so that you can download it. If you're a demonstrator, you can find it on the Demonstrator website under Happening Now Catalogs. And then next to the annual catalog, you'll see the sample recipe list to download. But you're welcome to just grab it from my website at juliedavison.com/downloads/AC for Annual Catalog 2022_recipes.pdf. I'll put this link in the video description when we're all done, so you can just click on it and you don't have to type it in. Yes, thank you so much for sharing, Bonnie. This is such an awesome video to share, because tonight I will be walking you through how I'm inspired by the catalog and how I case the projects. Now, some of them we're going to copy exactly. Some of them we're going to make some changes. Some of them we're going to change up the stamp set and the colors and everything. So I hope that I can inspire you to turn to the catalog and to do some casing of your own. So I'm going to start by sharing 3 projects that I've already cased. And the first one is right on the cover of the catalog. I absolutely loved this project. The Hues of Happiness designer paper, I know I've shown this, has dies that coordinate, so you can cut those out. And so I just used a different color of the designer paper. I cut out some different flowers, but otherwise it's almost exactly the same. I'm noticing now that my greeting is on the other side, and I use some different embellishments, but that's one way that you can selectively edit, right? Make some changes, pick the colors that you have, but I don't want you to feel like you have to have all of the same things to make the projects in the catalogs. Use whatever you have at home, whatever designer paper you have, whatever stamp set you have, and be inspired by the catalog. I actually do this challenge with my team. Every time there's a new catalog, I challenge them to case the catalog. And so we do that where we take a picture of the project and we show it next to the sample that has inspired us. So I'm going to pull out, I should have done this earlier. It's been a busy day. I'm going to pull out and share with you the other samples that I copied from the catalog, and I'm going to show you those, and then we're going to dig in and we're going to do some casing of our own. Okay, so this was the first one right off the catalog cover, also inside here, and I've got my pages marked. So the first one, I cased this one last night. I did a bingo night in my virtual open house VIP group for my customers, and I cased this card with the new pretty pop-ups. This is a note card, and so I just added these strips of paper that I that I die cut with the pretty pop-up dies. And the die, let me show you the die really quick. The dies don't cut all the way through. They just cut like parts of the image so that you can kind of pop them up. Isn't this so easy? Oh my gosh, I love this card. I use the new in colors Tahitian Tide, Orchid Oasis, and Starry Sky. And my cardstock pieces are 3 1/8 by 1.5 inches. Okay, so that's it. Just those 3 pieces. And then I used, what stamp set did I use? I think I still have it out. I used the Inspired Thoughts stamp set for the words, which is kind of similar to this Celebrating You stamp set, but I didn't have the Celebrating You stamp set, so I just looked in my stamp cabinet to find one that I did have, and I came across this one, which was about the same size. So that's one example, right, of copying and changing things. I changed the colors, I changed the stamp set, but otherwise I kind of made it pretty similar. Okay, so that is another example of casing. I'm going to show you one more before we jump in and do our own. This is a project I did during Thursday Night Stamp Therapy a couple weeks ago, so you may recognize this one. I used the Sweet Songbirds, though I have to tell you that after the video is over, I realized I did not stamp a wing for the bird, so I did go back and add that after the video. I looked back at my picture and I was like, that bird is missing something. It's missing a wing. I was inspired by this Whale Done card. And so you can see my inspiration again. I changed the designer paper. I changed the colors. I changed the stamp set. I had the same kind of idea with the designer paper that had a die cut circle. And then I stamped a little bit on the background and used some embellishments. So I changed almost everything except I kept the same layout. So I hope that you will take inspiration and use what you have at home to make similar cards. What I do, and I know I've shared this before too, when I'm looking through the new catalog, I often go through and I make little sketches like this in my notebook or sometimes on my grid paper. I make little sketches and I will go through and I'll sketch out like this. I don't know that I've got it sketched out in this book, but I'll sketch out the project. And then looking at the card sketch, let me show you that again. Looking at the card sketch kind of helps me to be able to visualize the layout and substitute whatever I have, right? Sometimes when you're looking at the samples in the catalog, like all you can see is whale, you know, but I don't have the whale. So sometimes making a drawing like that helps you to kind of step outside what you're seeing in the catalog and visualize the things that you have. So I'll take my little sketchbook and I'll go to my stamp cabinet, and I love that our stamps have like the images on the side. So I can just look at all my stamps lined up and I can see like, okay, I think this one has like, you know, an image that's the right size, or, you know, what I want to do with that. And for this one, I looked at it and I thought, punches. What other punches do I have that I could do like a little punched thing? Okay, so those are the 3 cards that I've cased so far, but I am not done casing the catalog. Here's a card. I'm not going to make this one tonight, but here's one that I flagged. So all my flags are the cards that I want to case. So here's one using a Little Cheesy, and I don't have this stamp set. I'm not sure that I'll get it necessarily. It doesn't really do a lot for me, but I really love this layout. So having some stripes, maybe embossed cardstock, maybe designer paper, and then a strip of cardstock, stamping 3 elements and then coloring them. It looks like this one was sponged, and then some ribbon and a sentiment across. I know I've got all of those things, and so I will definitely be casing this card using something completely different because I don't have this. A little cheesy. It is a cute set though. What do you guys think about that one? It's got a cookie and a bowl of pudding and cheese and wine. Oh, I do love wine. It says, where there's wine, there's a way. I love all these little puns. So stinking cute. Okay, so we're not going to case this one tonight. Let's move on and see. This one. Oh, this is the one I was just showing you. Okay, so let's start with this one. I was looking through the samples to figure out which ones I wanted to show you tonight. And as I came across this page, I really love the designer paper here. And I was looking at this sample because I love simple layouts. And I looked at this and I thought, how? Because these leaf images, like there's only so many of these stamps that are over here. And so it took me a second to realize, and what I did is I looked in, now I've lost my sheet. Here it is. I looked in the annual catalog sample recipe document, and I looked up what they used here, and I realized that it's actually from the designer paper. So here's the designer paper. This is a 12 by 12 designer paper. It's called Abigail Rose, and it has these beautiful floral images. The colors here are early espresso, crumb cake, very vanilla, not whisper white, basic white, and what did it? I lost my train of thought. Petal pink. Okay, so we've got these just really soft, subtle, gorgeous patterns. Okay, so I'm looking through the paper and I'm like, wait a second, that's the design right there. So I took my die and I die cut it. This, by the way, is the new magnetic platform, the new magnetic cutting plate. So I die cut with the big die that comes with the bundle. So here's the big die, and the big die doesn't really cut. It coordinates and lines up with like some of these images, like the now I can't line it up right there. So the flowers and the big flower. Okay, but like there's not one image that works with this, although there is in the designer paper. So let's bring that paper in, and the die cut, holy smokes, you guys, look at this. It's not working. Line it up. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. That's so cool. So you can do this, like you can die cut straight from the designer paper if you want. You are going to get all those little pieces are going to come out separately, and then you can use those on a card, right? You can layer these together. In fact, this card down here, can you see this one, uses some of these die cuts and then just sponges them and layers them together for the card. So you have the stem and then the large and then the flowers like that. Isn't that cool? So you can then use these. You can also stamp on these. Let's scoot this out of the way. So this was the big flower, and it does coordinate with the stamp. So let's give that a quick stamp. Nothing like stamping on the spot. Let's see if we can line this up. This is not a photopolymer stamp, so okay, you guys ready? I gotta come down here. Oh, I just got my hand in the ink. Okay, ready? Hey! Oh my gosh, I'm really impressed with myself. Look at that. That was kind of amazing. I don't think I could do it again like that if I tried. Look, I'm really impressed. Okay, so you can stamp on those die cuts, stamp on those pieces. It's going to be a little harder with this stamp because it is a set. It's like a set of 3. So you'd have to kind of line those up. The Stamparatus would be a good way to, like, you know, use this die to die cut them. Okay, so we're using the designer paper and we're going to create this card here. So I die cut, I'm losing all my pieces. I die cut the outline, and now I'm going to line it up over the paper. And so we're going to have to do a little trimming on the paper so that it fits. I needed to die cut kind of a diagonal so that it would all fit on the paper. So I'm just going to do a little, just a little rough cutting just to kind of get a feel for the, and then we can do some better cutting. Okay, so this is going to go, you know what? Let's do like dimensionals and really kind of make that pop. Isn't that going to look cool? I think so. Let's do mini dimensionals so that we can add some inside these smaller spaces. And then we're going to pop it up over the designer paper. And this is going to go on our card front. Oh yeah, right there. Do you have these little mini dimensionals? I don't really use them that often because usually the bigger ones do the job a lot easier, but they are really perfect for things like this where you're trying to get into those little spaces, make sure that they have the support that they need. So I used a lot, but I think it will be worth it because we don't want this die cut to be sagging and sinking. Yes, Joe. Okay, I'm gonna try hard to like watch your comments. I sometimes get so into what I'm doing that I forget to take a look, and I do always read them afterwards. So if you ask me a question and I miss it, you can either try asking again if I didn't see it, or I will answer you afterwards when I look back at the comments. Did I get them all? So Corinne says, use your plain die cut as a stencil for the stamps. Yes, I thought of that too. Well, even like before I glued it on, I thought I could do like some spritzing or something and then die cut another piece so that like they would be colored. Although I might want the flowers and the leaves to be colored a little bit differently. So that is an option to color, obviously, and customize your designer paper. Since I'm casing the catalog, I'm just going to kind of keep it simple. They actually used white cardstock and I chose vanilla. I'm kind of wishing that I had picked the white because I think it would pop a little bit more, but that's okay. I'm going to use my scissors and cut just underneath so that our paper is not showing. Just want to make sure we have the nice clean edge. Oh, and I know some of you are going to ask, so let me do a quick measure on here and see. My Very Vanilla cardstock is 3.5 inches by 5 inches. 3.5 by 5. And so then the designer paper is just whatever, whatever I needed, about the same size. But I didn't want to cut it ahead of time because I knew that I had to line it up and I didn't want to accidentally cut too much of that pattern. Okay, so let's move this out of the way just for a moment. I'll put it behind me and bring back in our cardstock. So the sample here in the catalog had the striped paper from the Abigail Rose, but oh my gosh, you guys, this is my favorite pattern from the whole paper. I just love the way those tulips pop, and so I cannot turn that over and cover most of it up. I just can't do it. So I'm not going to use the stripes. I'm going to use another piece of cardstock, and this is actually from the Host designer paper called Design Daydream, and this is like I have both sides to show you, and you can help me decide which one to use. So there's this one, which is more subtle with the stripes. That was sort of similar to the stripes in this one, and it's the same color, the petal pink. So I was trying to find the other designer paper that had the similar color, and then this one has the flowers. Okay, so I'm not going to glue them down like this, but just so you can kind of see, and most of it honestly is going to be covered. So tell me what you guys think, this or that. Tell me stripes or flowers. And we'll use one of those to make the card. While you guys are voting, I brought in some cardstock. I cut a little piece for the sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that while you guys are telling me which one of those designer papers to use. And so on the card, they used this stamp, which says it's going to be fab. I love that. I say that all the time. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Sometimes I get stressed and I'm thinking, I'm never going to get all this done. But my motto is everything's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. And guess what? It always is. There was a saying I remember seeing once, and it said, everything's going to be okay in the end. So if it's not okay, it's not the end. Right? So I always have faith in that. It's always going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay yet, then it's not the end. And there's still time. Okay, so I have the sentiment that's going to go here. And the other really fun thing we're going to do is we're using this natural finish ribbon to add a little frayed ribbon behind the sentiment. So I'm going to cut a piece that's longer than the cardstock. And then I'm just going to kind of take and fray. I really, for this card, I really want that, like, that texture. Oh, that one's, that's kind of crazy. But you want the extra texture here. And so you're just going to kind of pull that apart a little bit and till you get the little phrase. And you can go more, you can go less. They kind of have it a little like off to the side. I'm actually wondering if I need to trim just a little bit off of there. And then here's the weird end. I'm going to just fray that a little bit more. Okay. I got behind on all of your comments again. Okay, so we got stripe, stripe, stripe. It looks like a lot of stripes. A couple flowers, but mostly stripes. So I think we're gonna use stripes. Oh, Sharon says, I won her over on this collection. Isn't this always the case, right? Like, we see things in the catalog and it's like, it's different when it's black and white and, you know, you don't really like make a connection to it. And then all of a sudden, you see it and you're just like, oh yeah, I gotta have that. I'm the same way, you guys. I'm always adding to my list and, deciding I need more than I thought I did. I'm going to start our fray over a little bit because I want it to be a little bit shorter. Okay, Cheryl, I see your comment on the first cased card. How did you get the spiral notebook edge? That's a really great question. And one I think a lot of people are wondering, it's actually a die in that, that Happiness Abounds stamp set. Let me show you. We're going to have a quick sidebar to answer the question. And if you're not sure what we're talking about right here, this spiral edge on the Happiness Abounds card, which is cased from the cover. So let's find that page really quick and see if I can show you. Well, I'm going to show you, I think it'll be easier to show you the dies. So let's go back here to the dies, and I think my bundle's like up in the cabinet. I could just go grab it. Here it is. Okay. So here's the die in this set. And by the way, you can find this suite, the Hues of Happiness, on page 109. But there's two long dies here. One of them is this border, and the other one does the spiral border. Okay, so they're both dies that do the different edges. So really skinny little edge dies. Okay, I think I did a video where I demonstrated that card. It's like when the pre-order first came out. So early April. Okay, so we've got our frayed ribbon. There we go. Let's just trim that, and we're going with the stripes because you guys like the stripes. I do think the stripes kind of just are, the flowers maybe blend in a little bit. So I see you guys. I see where you're at. So we're gonna layer this card. It's coming together nice and easily. It's gonna be a really quick card because I did all the work. So let's glue it down. Where's our Stampin' Seal. This is my adhesive of choice. By the way, the designer paper is 3 inches, by 5.5. And whenever I'm casing the catalog, I honestly am just eyeballing it. So I look at the sample and I kind of cut a piece, and then I look back to my project and I'm like, you know what, I think I need to cut that a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. Like I kind of hold it up to see you know, how it's going to look on the card, and then determine. Also, sometimes the size of the stamp will help me determine what size to cut my cardstock. I pulled up the designer paper so I could move it over closer to the edge, because I realized that I wasn't going to see, like, too much of the paper was going to get covered up. Okay. So we have dimensionals on the layer, on the cardstock layer, and we're just going to do regular adhesive on the designer paper, and that's going to go on the card like that. So see, that paper gets covered up so much. I couldn't waste the good paper. Then we're going to layer this on, and I'm trying to think the best way, because I kind of want this to be on some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to add Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of that, and let's see here, that's kind of off to the side. I'm trying to make this a little crooked, because that's how it is in the card. I'll show you. And then this is going to go on the card like right there. So because we've got all this unevenness, I'm going to use a little piece of tear and tape to stick down our ribbon. So I'm going to put the tear and tape right on the ribbon. Let's see if this works. And then separate that. Easier said than done. That's the tricky part. There we go. Coming apart. Okay, and now this is going to go right about there. Make sure it's straight. Okay, card number 1. If you want, you can add that. I think I will add that on the inside. And sometimes I put a layer of cardstock in here, but I feel like the crumb cake is pretty, it's pretty light. You can stamp on it. It's going to be fab. I'm going to leave it blank. I might go back later and add an inside sentiment. But here's our first card. So let's take a look at the catalog. We're going to open this back up and show you the sample in the catalog and how our version turned out. And right away, I'm noticing that this card actually looks a little bit taller than mine. And I'm thinking that this might be a European size. Yeah. So as you know, Stampin' Up! Has demonstrators and customers all over the world. And so paper sizes are different in Europe and the South Pacific. And so sometimes the samples in the catalog are designed with those other sizes so that they can inspire the people who use those sizes. So as I'm looking at this supply list, I'm noticing here it says standard A4. And so that is, I believe, the other, yeah. So that is the longer cardstock. So our cardstock in the United States is 8.5 by 11, and I believe the A4 is then like longer. I'm actually not sure the exact size, but I know that it is a little skinnier and a little longer, I think, than our cardstock. So that is a difference, but you can still see I was able to still copy it and come pretty close to the original project there. I kind of like the way that turned out. Okay, so that was card number 1. We're casing away. Let's move on to our next tab. You know, I didn't prepare this one, but I'm just going to show you. Kind of have my eye on this project. I just love the way that that looks. Oh gosh, maybe we should just... I'm kind of wanting to case it. Okay, we're going to come back to this because I have another card that I want to make using this stamp set, Begin With a Dream. And as I'm looking at this, I feel like the heart would fit perfectly in there, and we could use the You Make a Difference as a banner. So we're going to come back and see if we've got time. But right now we're going to keep moving along to our next tab. Oh, this is another one. I didn't prep this one, but it did catch my eye using the Let's Set Sale bundle. This one came out in the January through June mini catalog, and it's carried over. So I'm really excited about that, especially because I haven't had a chance to play very much with it. But this card layout with the layering diorama is just so so clever. I love that it's really simple, easy to duplicate, and I really like the colors as well. Sometimes when I'm looking at the samples in the catalog, I'm really inspired by the colors. And so being able to look at the sample list and have the colors listed out really kind of helps me as I'm looking to the color combinations. Okay, well, next up is, oh, I love this one. I don't know that I have it prepared. This was another one I was like, if we have enough time, we can do this one. I really just love the simplicity of the strips of designer paper that are torn. I think this is such a great layout and an easy one for creating cards with your scraps. So this is definitely a layout that I'm going to come back to. If not tonight, another night. Marilyn, thank you so much for posting that. A4 cardstock is 8.3 inches times 11.3 inches. So it's just a little bit skinnier and a little bit longer, which is my recollection. Thank you so much for posting that exact size. It's very helpful to know. Okay. So our next project that we are going to case tonight is this one here using the Cup of Tea bundle, but I want to make this layout using a different bundle. I love casing, and like I said, sometimes I don't always have everything. I do have the teacup. Honestly, the teacup doesn't do a lot for me. But one stamp set that I've wanted to play with is the Happier Than Happy. This is part of the Happy Forest Friends suite, and it has just the sweetest designer paper. This reminds me so much of like a children's book, and I feel like this would be really cute for a baby scrapbook. The colors too are so subtle. And I think gender neutral. So if you're making a baby scrapbook for a boy or a baby girl, I feel like you could use all of these patterns to create something really special. I think the colors, you know, it's not like the traditional pink and blue is what I'm trying to say. Like, I think the colors are gender neutral, so they would work for any baby scrapbook. Okay, so here's the page I printed out, and it has all of the original supplies. Now I'm using something totally different, so I don't necessarily need this because it's not showing me the measurements at all. Oh, this is interesting. It says create your own DSP, but the designer paper in the original card, which you can see better right here, is actually from the Design a Daydream that hosts that. So I wonder what they meant by create your own DSP. Maybe the other piece here, they've stamped the words on that one, so maybe that's the one that they meant. All right, well, I picked out some alternate colors. I'm using a card base that is Old Olive, but I'm going to cover it up with a piece of designer paper that is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. This is part of that Happy Forest Friends designer paper. And this is such a fun pattern that I didn't want to cover it up. And so I decided that my little rectangle piece is going to be vellum. And that will allow us to see the design. We are going to cover it up a little bit with the bear and the greeting, but mostly we're going to be able to see through the design and create a card over it. So let me move this out of the way really quick, and we'll do some stamping. So it's like such a balancing act with all of my stuff. I'm stamping the bear in, you know, I was going to use Early Espresso, but I'm looking at this designer paper and I'm thinking that soft suede maybe might be a better option. So let's use soft suede instead. This bear is so cute. And this whole stamp set is part of our distinctive line. So you have this really interesting texture when you stamp. It's not a solid stamp. You kind of have this built-in like shadow and texture. And so it is supposed to stamp that way. And I just love I love how it does that. You have a darker outline, but then this sort of lighter, lighter inside. I just think that's really cool. All right, I have some ideas for the sentiment on this one. And one idea I had was using the new decorative circle punch. This is one of my favorite new punches. I was just measuring this last night, and it's 2 1/4 inches like across in diameter. So if you have a 2-inch circle punch, that would layer really nicely on this punch. I've just punched one with white, and we're gonna stamp the sentiment happy. It says happier than happy for you. So we're going to see what we think. And I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be too big. And maybe we'll want, oh dear, that was unfortunate. I'll just flip that over and pretend like that didn't happen. I had a little ink that caught there on the rubber, and it created like a little halo line. That's better. There are coordinating dies that go with this bundle. And they cut out many of the stamped images, and then there's also some additional detail dies, which are lovely. So we're going to die cut our bear, and this will fit into the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I'm going to get out that one. This is called Lucy. I call her Lucy. You might call yours something different. I know we have this conversation all the time. I'm going to put I've got the white base, then a cutting plate, then my cardstock, my die, and the other cutting plates. Now, right now, the mini magnetic cutting plate, even though it appears in the catalog, is not ready it's not available. They don't have enough inventory in stock yet. So watch for that coming soon. But if you're trying to order it, it's not currently available. Oh, Michelle says she calls her mini machine a bad name. You'll have to message me, Michelle. I'd love to know that bad name. Sharon, I see your question. Is that punch about the same size as the retired hippo die that everyone used before? You know, that's a good question. I know that the hippo dies had some layering sizes, you know, like nesting, right? They were different sizes, the same shape. I have that bundle, but I never used it, which is, I know, ridiculous. I do have a whole old catalog. Let's, I'm going to take a quick look at the dies. And even though they're not actual size, maybe we'll just kind of be able to get an idea. So this shape is a little bit more rounded, and I would say that it's probably bigger than the smallest shape, but smaller than the medium one. Definitely the big one is bigger than this shape. So if that is helpful to you. I also, last night during bingo, I was showing everybody how this shape compared to the Label Me Lovely. And this is a punch I always used before. So the Label Me Lovely punch is a little bit smaller. It does have the straight edges and some smaller bumps. And so this one is a little bit more even all the way around. I do notice on the side here, they're tighter and a little bit wider on the top. So it is a similar shape. This is bigger than this one. And like I said, they're similar. If you have this one, then you may not need this one. If you love punches, of course you need them both. That's why I have them both. Okay, so let's keep going with our card. We have our designer paper. I'm just going to put this to the side for a second. We have our vellum piece because I want to be able to see the bear. Oh, I love that. And then I have the sentiment. And so this is what I'm trying to figure out. Do you think that is does it take up too much space? Happier than happy. Maybe we should do a smaller greeting. Here's the original again. And they have a little a smaller strip for the sentiment. And so if we did that, you'd be able to see a little bit more of the designer paper behind there. Although I do love that sentiment. And I feel like with the vellum, you still can see like what's going on. So tell me what you think. Do you like this circle, or do you think we should do a smaller greeting? While you guys are answering, I'm going to apply some adhesive to this designer paper and add it to the card front. If it helps your decision, I will bring in the stamp set to show you that this stamp set does have some smaller sentiments, including thanks and hello baby and welcome. And so we could do a little bit of like maybe crumb cake, or I actually do like the Calypso Coral. So maybe like a little line of the Calypso Coral. And we can add that in there. So I'm going to add some, we're gonna really pop stuff tonight on this card. I want the vellum to stick out from the designer paper. So I'm going to use some glue dots, Stampin' Dimensionals, Stampin' Dimensionals under the vellum, or under the bear, but then also underneath the vellum as well to kind of raise that up a little bit. So I'm going to add them underneath the bear so that that sticks up. And before I shouldn't have put this on because if we do this, I'll add more dimensionals underneath that. If we do something skinny, I'll strategically place a dimensional under the skinny. So I'm just going to kind of put this like this. Let's see what you guys say. Okay, I see some smaller. Some of you like the circle. Put that one inside. Oh, I see this one on the inside of the card and the smaller one on the front. Keep the circle. You guys are really split on this. Some of you like the circle. Some of you want to see the smaller greeting. I feel like to really make a decision, you're going to need to see it. So let's do a little welcome and we'll see what we think, and then we can make a better decision. Now I'm really excited about this sentiment welcome because I have had several new demonstrators join my team, several new stampers join my Stampin' Up family this month. We have this really amazing special going on right now, and you can get a new in color gift package when you join as a demonstrator in May, which is just super exciting. So if you're looking at getting the in color ink pads and cardstock and designer paper already, you can get them for free when you join as a demonstrator and get $125 in product for only $99 plus tax. Shipping is free on the starter kit order. So it's been such an exciting month. It's only, what is today? It's May 12th, and we have already had 6, 7, 8 people join our Jubilant Stampers family. It's so exciting. So if you've been thinking about it, check out the link in the video description when we're all done for more information about joining and what that's like. Okay, I need to find Calypso Coral. Let's grab, I have a little piece here, how handy, and let's get the paper trimmer. So we can cut a little, I'm going to say like just a little 1/2-inch strip. Okay, perfect. Now, fingers crossed, I can stamp it straight. One little tip for stamping, and when I first put this on, like it was a little crooked like that. So whenever I'm stamping, especially small words like this, I try to make sure that the words are parallel and straight to the block. And so now, you know, the label might be a little bit off, but I want to make sure that the stamp is, so that when I'm stamping, I can line up the block and focus on making the block parallel to the cardstock. A little bit of ink catch right there. I'm going to turn that over and try it again. Trying not to push too hard on that side. Perfect. I'm going to do a little, like a little banner. Okay, are you guys ready? We need to make our decision now. we're going to decide between the smaller sentiment and the bigger punch. So let's take a look. Here is our card so far. This is the bigger one, and it does cover up a little, mostly the trees though. So it's not so bad. Here would be the other one, and you would get to see more of those trees. Unfortunately, we still cover up that little toadstool either way. I guess it could be a little higher. I know. I think I still like the circle too, Janice. Oh, yeah. I'm liking this happy. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Jackie says, wish this video. Oh, probably closed captions, Jackie. I'm sorry. I don't know if it does while it's live. Circle. Oh, you guys are still split. Both. Oh. Okay, I am going to make the executive decision with the circle. And Jackie, I'm so sorry that the video does not show closed caption while it's live. I know that is frustrating. I don't know if that's an option on Facebook to do that. So I like it putting a little higher because then this guy kind of can show through the vellum. Okay, so I did that with regular adhesive. Then we're going to do some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of the vellum to support that whole layer. So stinking cute. So cute. Happier than happy for you. We definitely need to have a little layer inside. And maybe some other little forest friends. So since we already have our welcome stamp, let's do welcome. Okay, I just glued it down, so fingers crossed. Oh, I knew it was gonna do that. Oh, what a stinker. Da, 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 da. Look at this. Glue right over it. Oh, always an opportunity. Okay, so we've got that on the inside. Welcome. And maybe we can just add like a little owl or something. Little owl. Let's just stamp a little guy in here. Oh, he's not straight at all. Thought I had ink on me. Okay. We need some embellishments though. I know you agree. What kind of embellishments do we have? I'd like a couple dots. Let's take a look. I'm getting out my my embellishment box to see what we have. We have some new iridescent pearls. Those are brand new in the catalog. That's kind of fun. I don't know that the colors are right in this one. Nope, not quite. We have some classic dots. And these are pretty. The polished dots. You know what I really would love though is something with Calypso Coral, and I don't see anything with Calypso Coral. So let's make our own Calypso Coral, right? Let's get out our classic matte dots and that's Cajun Craze. Our Stampin' Blends, and I'm just going to add some color. Oh, get back here. Oh, that's the glue side. This technique does tend to fray your Stampin' Blends. So this is a good technique to use with an older Stampin' Blend that you're not necessarily using the color anymore. Or just be gentle. This was already frayed, so this, I'm not necessarily fraying it doing this technique. That's going to need just a minute to dry. Sometimes I layer, like I color it and then I let it dry and add some more color. And then we'll be able to lift those off and add those to our card. I like that, that little pop of color. Okay, I'm going to transfer, since these are kind of inky and I already got ink on my fingers, I'm going to transfer these over with my scissors. I never know where to put, never know where to put the 3. I'm going to go with that. Boop, boop. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to put these away. Let's take a look at our catalog sample and our finished sample and see what we think of our card. So we're casing the catalog. I'm on page 162 of the 2022 to 2023 Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. Here's the original project with the teacup, and here is my version with the Happier Than Happy bundle. I used designer paper to cover the back. I used a vellum layer instead of the cardstock. I have a die cut image and a sentiment. Yay! Oh, I love the way this turned out. I hope you guys do. Oh no, I lost it. Where did it go? Did you see it? Oh, here it is. Oh, there's not enough glue. I think the glue dot came off of it. So we're going to have to put, someone said down in the leaves. Oh, the glue dot is there. Ooh, there it is. Okay. We'll have to use some glue. Oh. I think it gets lost there, don't you? Well, I'm going to put it up here. If you feel like it's random, then you can always add more. Like you could put a third one down here and a second one up there. And maybe that's what I should do. Okay, I'm gonna need the putty to hold it and the scissors to get it off the putty. I don't know, should we add 2 more? We always talk about doing odd numbers. Let's color a couple more really quick. And we'll add those on. I think that will make it seem less random. Well, the one up here less random. Okay. What do you think? Is that better? I think I like it better. All right, that was card number 2. We're casing the annual catalog tonight. We're making some changes. We're making cards exactly as they are. We have one more to go, and I did promise. I said if we had time, we would make more, but I'm kind of running out of steam, so we might just stick with 3. Okay, so this is number 2. Let's keep going. The last project that we're going to case tonight is this one. I've talked about the host stamp sets and a host exclusive gifts. So I'll just again mention, when you have an order that's over $150, then you can choose with your host rewards, you can choose some of these specially priced host exclusive gifts. We have the Design a Daydream designer paper, which is a 12 by 12 huge stack of designer paper, and 3 stamp sets including Garden Grandeur, Sit, Stay, and Relax, and Begin with a Dream. And so this is the card that we're going to case. I thought that that layout was really fun, and I really loved just the images in this stamp set. Let me bring this in. So Begin with a Dream has the row of people holding hands, the globe, the heart. I just thought this was a sweet set. Oh, I'm reaching here. I'm reaching for the designer paper to show you. So you get this giant stack. This says 12 sheets, but it's actually 48 sheets. And so the papers in here, we have some really, I think those were doubles. We have some really fun colors with the Blackberry Bliss, so saffron, petal pink, old olive, balmy blue, pool party. Just really kind of fun. So 12 different patterns. You get 4 of each sheet. Let me show you the other side really quick. Ta-da-ta-da. And I know that we just used the stripes, but we're gonna use that sheet again. This is the one I had you guys decide on for the first one. That is the sheet that they have used on this card. And so we're going to copy, but remember how I said copy and selectively edit is how I say case. I really think, I just don't use a lot of white card bases. So I'm changing the white card base to Blackberry Bliss. I think that's really going to make it pop. I cut some designer paper. I'm just going to try to move. I'll put it behind me. We're going to use those people, the row of people, and then we're also going to use the heart, and you make a difference. So let's get these on the blocks. For this one, I think I'm gonna need, this is block I. So this is a long skinny block, but it's bigger than block H, which is the other long skinny block. Actually, it would have been a tight fit, but it would have worked on that block. If you're looking to get started with your Stampin' Up! Collection and you don't have clear blocks yet, you can get them individually or you can get them as a bundle and save 10%. So I love that there's a bundle option to help you get started with one of each size. Block I. I don't know. I don't understand. Deanna, I'm not sure. I get the joke. Black eye. I'm going to do the heart. And did you see what happened there? The heart had a center that came out of the sticker and a center that comes out of the rubber so that you can, so that you don't catch ink on all that extra rubber. So they have that die cut. Oh, U of I. Okay, I got it. I guess yes, I'm getting it now, Deanna. I wasn't thinking of black eye, but I understand now, the big black eye. For the Illini, go Illini. I live in Champaign-Urbana, which is where the University of Illinois is. So our mascot is the Illini, and our logo is a big eye. It used to be the chief, but now it's a big black eye. Okay, you make a difference. This one's going on. I gotta make sure we're putting it on the right way. All right. I guessed on the designer paper, and it looks like I guessed perfectly because our stamp is going to fit straight across. This designer paper is 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. And I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss to stamp. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, this is going to be kind of tricky. I'm going to stamp 1, 2, 3, and then if I need to, I'm just going to trim off the bottom. And hopefully, oh my goodness, that was perfect. That was the perfect size, and I stamped it just right. I'm kind of impressed with myself. Okay, so we've got the people. And next up, we need to stamp the heart. And I want to use Calypso Coral again. And we're going to do white cardstock. Now, the catalog recipe page told me that the heart punch pack is what was used on the sample. So I'm really excited to have a heart stamp that goes with the heart punch pack. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's pretty close. The heart punch pack includes 2 hearts, a solid heart and the scallop heart. And you might have this one. It's been out for a couple years. We have this. Oh, look at that. So it's not perfectly perfect, but it does fit in there really, really nicely. So this is going to go in the middle. That's where it was, in the middle. And then for the words, the original catalog sample used a piece of designer paper and went across. And I think I'm going to use a piece of petal pink cardstock. Oh, I don't know, or so saffron. Here's the petal pink. Maybe we'll have to try both and see what we think. Is there designer paper that would work? The original sample used a large striped designer paper, this one, and white embossed on that blackberry strip. I don't feel like embossing today. I know. Let's see what we think about these. Let's cut little strips and do some stamping. And then we can decide. I kind of like the idea of having a pop of color with the yellow. But the that would go with it. Or do we want the same color as the heart? We're gonna have some options. Let's use Blackberry Bliss ink on all of them, and we'll see which one we like best. I maybe want to have a little more space on the sides in case I want to do an angle. Pushing too hard. Okay. I know, Julie. Sometimes I get too many options for you guys, don't I? Here we go. Let's see. This one, I kind of like that. That's 1, Calypso Coral. 2, Petal Pink. 3, So Saffron. Oh my. Eve Springer, pink, because the yellow and orange hurt your teeth? What does that mean? How do they hurt your teeth? I don't understand. Let's see. I think that the petal pink blends in too much, don't you think? Oh, Christy likes petal pink. I'm kind of liking the coral. I think I'm seeing several corals. I don't think any of you like the yellow. No, I did see a yellow. Who said yellow? Coral or pink, 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 pink. Nancy likes the yellow, which was number 3. I'm gonna add something else here. We're gonna do a layer of white. And actually we probably need 2. One for the inside as well. But I think this needs just a layer like this. That's gonna just make that pop. I really think I like that. So we're switching things up just a little bit on this card because the original layout was over to the side like this. But I'm kind of liking it in the center. What do you guys think? So I'm going to make this be 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, which is just a 1/4 inch bigger. And then we're going to layer those together. I like that a lot. I'm going to cut another white that's the same, 3 3/4 inches by 5 for the inside of the card. Oh, you guys are saying that you like it on the side. I mean, we could still put it on the side and layer it. Do you not like the white? Tell me what you think about white or no white. I'm layering this with seal, Stampin' Seal, and then I'm going to add Stampin' Dimensionals to the back. And this is going to go in the center. On the inside, I'm just going to stamp a row of people. And lots of room to write a note on the inside. This color is so beautiful, so deep and rich. This is Blackberry Bliss. Okay. Yes to the whites. Cheryl says white detracts from the heart. I feel like it kind of makes the heart pop because it sort of frames it out in that color. Okay, I'm just reviewing a lot of your comments, and I think most of you like the white. So I'm going to leave it white. But now we have to decide, do we like it on the side? I don't know. So there it is. Okay, let's put this aside. I'm going to bring in just a white strip. No. If it's on the side, I think no white. But if it's in the center, I like the white. All right, you know what? I'm going to center it with the white. And if you want to do something different when you case this project at home, you can. I see a comment about using Calypso Coral instead of white. And I don't have a piece big enough. But let's just have a look to see what that would look like. If you want to have that white, the white heart pop, what do you think about Calypso Coral? It would go all the way around. Okay, last question. Do you prefer the Calypso Coral or the white? because we could do either way. White, white, so. That's an interesting, I see your comment, Sharon, about using a smaller margin. I always like the larger 1/8 inch, which is what this is. Some people I know go a little tighter so that it's smaller around the edge. And I don't know. I prefer the larger one personally, but you could go a little tighter. Michelle says do both, half and half. You guys are pretty split, but I do see a little more white. So we're going to use white, especially because it's already cut. And so that makes it easy. We're going to layer this onto the white, and then we're going to add it to the center of the card. Like I said, when you're making this card at home, you can copy and selectively edit in your own way, or you can make it exactly as it is in the catalog. Let's bring that catalog back in and have a look. So here is the original card, and you can see you have a little bit of that yellow and blue from the designer paper. I do love the Blackberry Bliss card base. I feel like it makes the whole card kind of pop and sing, and so I think the picture too does not, it's kind of light in the picture. I think the petal pink really stands out better in person. So there's our third cased card. In tonight's video, we were copying the catalog, doing a case of copy and selectively edit, and we made 3 different cards. If you're joining late, these are the cards that we made, copied right from the catalog. So I hope that you are inspired to open up the catalog and to be inspired by the ideas that are shared within. I'm going to add the link to the video description. Let me try to find my paper under here. If you haven't already seen the catalog supply list that will tell you all the items used to make different projects in the catalog, you can download that at juliedavison.com/downloads/AC for annual catalog 2022_recipes.pdf. So I hope that you will also copy from the catalog and be inspired by the samples, all of the hundreds and hundreds of samples that are in the catalog. Thank you for joining me tonight for Thursday Night Stamp Therapy. I have lots of cards that I want to create and share with you, some fun folds that are on the docket, but it just was a busy day and I didn't have a chance to prepare more. So make sure you turn in next week for Thursday Night Stamp Therapy, because we're going to make some fun fold cards next week, I promise. And if you're looking for a fun fold, be sure to check out Project Playback, which was posted this morning, a little bit late. It was supposed to be last night, but Project Playback, I showed and shared how to make the pull through accordion card. So if you haven't seen this, this also uses that same Happy Forest Friends bundle. So you can check that out. I'll put the link in the video description. You can also find it on my YouTube channel at juliedavison.com. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Happy stamping, and I will see you next time for another card making video. Thanks for watching.